Good evening, friends. Welcome back to another episode of My Life, My... Sorry, what's the song? What's this podcast called again? The Songs That Changed My Life. This is in support of my book, My Life, My Songs, My Healing. My name is Emma G. I am an author, singer, songwriter, youth empowerment coach using songwriting as your superpowers. And of course, doer of all things, including running podcasts like this. Tonight, I am joined all the way from Aotearoa, a friend, a brother, somebody who has been in the music industry for a wee while now, Sasha Perry. How are you, my friend?
I'm awesome. Kia ora, sister. How are you?
Kia ora, kia ora. It's funny. Normally I would be, speaking all in American at the moment because I've been in America for the last 5.5, 6 years. But of course, kia ora, kia ora. It's been a long time since I've spoken in Te Reo Māori, but you can balance me out tonight considering I'm so behind.
All good. Just on that, so because you lived in Raglan, I've got a million questions too. You lived in Raglan, so are you Māori? What's your nationality, my friend?
I am multicultural. I'm originally from Raglan, as you said, but my mother is from Pennsylvania and my father was from Fiji. So
cool.
That's where my color comes from. But then of course my grandfather was Iranian and my grandmother's Norwegian. However, growing up in Kirikiriroa, I very much was, tried my best to honor both English and Te Reo Māori, of course acknowledging that there's a huge link between Māori and Fijian languages. And then, of course, I started teaching at the Wānanga Aotearoa, which, further cemented my passion for Te Reo Māori and for tikanga Māori. So even now, as a youth empowerment coach, I like to, incorporate tikanga Māori when I'm teaching, which kind of bugs Americans out a little bit, if I'm being honest.
They need it, man. They need it.
It's true. But enough about me. I want to know about you. Who are you? What's your deal? Tell me about Sasha Perry.
Okay, so cool. So obviously, I would rather talk about you than myself. So I'm a bit like that.
That's not the aim of this show, my friend. This is all about you and your song.
I know. I've been prepping for this for a while. So I'm from a family of musicians and artists. So we go way right back. So first off, I've got a little brother. He's pretty up there in the sort of UN thing for Greenpeace and whatever, making big companies more green and stuff. And he does these sort of podcast things. So we're up against him now. When he put his podcast up, friends, family, everyone just gave him shit that it was so boring. They said that's how they're going to go to sleep now. They're going to play his podcast before bed. So we're up against that, Emma. We've got to be more entertaining than that. So anytime you want to jump on with your entertaining stories, you do that.
That's funny. No, I'm very much, this is my third podcast. So, it's all good. We're here. We do what we do.
I love it. So that's me, family of musicians, and I used to write songs since I was little, writing songs and things. I wasn't very good at talking. We had a neat upbringing. We had some out of things that you don't see until later, but it's cool, man. I love my brothers and my brothers love me, so it's cool. We're all musos and all get on like that. So I was writing songs for the bros, and then they just had to man up and get out on stage and give it a go. And then I've been doing that with our band, FTW TKKC from the Mighty Manu Poto. And so that's, I don't know, somewhere around there.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. No, I love it, sister. So that's me out there. And I've been lucky, like you said, people might not know Tikitane, but they'll know Jimmy Cliff. So I've opened for Jimmy Cliff, but they might know Catch a Fire's getting over there now. Catch
a Fire's quite large in some communities. The great thing about America, obviously, is that it's such a multicultural country, and so we do have a relatively strong Kiwiana base here across the country. Where there's an LA, Kia ora, LA Kiwis group in Los Angeles. There's one in DC. I'm sure there's others, sprouted throughout the country. However, I know that Catch a Fire is a relatively known group here for Americans who like their reggae and their dub. but you know, it's just it's hard. It's a huge market here, and so in some ways, which makes it easier almost, because you know, you only need 1,000 true fans in order to make yourself a, you know, a sustainable career in the States. And there's multiple thousands of thousands people in this country. So, you know, it depends on what circles you're in that people know about Catch a Fire or Te Kitane or, you know, other such epic humans that are from Aotearoa. So tell me about, you're working on a song, and I'm trying to find the video for your song Mary Jane. Do you have one on YouTube?
No, this is it's a redux of an old thing I'd done a long time ago on one of my brother's albums, and I've redone the whole chorus and everything. And so it's fresh air. It's just, it's not out there. Sorry, sis. The latest one that I did was Rock and Roll. There's a video out for that, but so it's in the pipeline. I've got a couple of things going with a couple of things, because it's one of my better songs that I think it sort of sums up where I'm at in my life right now. And so, and I really worked on a sort of sing-along sort of, I was always such a selfish artist, sister. I was really selfish, and I was in TV, and I made things for what I wanted to make for me, which was cool, because I got a lot of really cool people onto TV that never would have had that chance. And so that was cool. But so with my music, I was just telling my story, and it's my story, and I wasn't even singing tune. Right. You know what I mean? That's how raw and there was no timing, and fuck the beat and all of this sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm total opposite. I'm like, people gotta sit there and listen to this shit, Sash. Gotta try and get in tune, bro, you know. And so lucky I worked with this guy Jimmy Cutter, that's people in America might know, because he's probably one of the good old Jimmy. Yeah, he's a pretty amazing musician, right? So so working with guys like that, and hopefully Tukana, old Aaron's brother Clinton. So some lifelong musicians, and it does lift my game, because like working with the bros and stuff, working with good musicians, Richie Roma, things like that, it does lift me up. It just lifts me to a better place. I work harder, and then with the audience, like I said, now I know that they actually want to support the music. You have to give them something that, like my brother Garrett says, bro, if you want to go mainstream, write a mainstream song. That's what he says. That's funny. So what I'd like to do is, let's talk about a song that you've actually got a video for on YouTube. What's your favorite one that you have out thus far? We've got like hundreds, sis. We're like you. We pump them out and stuff. Jeez, there's so many. Let's go with Backstabber, because it's got the whole town. It's got a lot of old stuff. It's got that Once Warriors Renata riff in it, that down, down, down. Yeah. Down, 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 down. Right. So which is, and it's interesting that you bring that up, because obviously, you know, Once Warriors is a very Kiwi thing, but nobody in America knows what that is. So let's dial back. We'll talk about Backstabber. Let's talk about, you know, let's go to the very basics. What was the motivation behind this song? I'm gonna have to think of the words. Oh man, I'm horrible. All my songs are Māori land songs. I'm not a Māori. I've got a whāngai mum, Gloria Poe, and the reality is, if I was in Scotland, I know that if I had Māori friends in Scotland, and I grew up in Scotland, they'd be helping me get my Scottish land back. If I was Irish and I lived in Ireland, my Māori, you know what I mean? So it's the reverse, man. It's just common sense. As soon as people get the land back, that's the end of poverty. That's the end of all these things that we deal with, all the plasters we stick on in society, mental health, mata blah, will all be sorted when everyone gets their stuff back. And I think Māoris are sort of the closest when you see a lot of the things have gone through court in the English system, and they're beating the English system because they're smarter, eh? But I mean, you know what I mean? There's different degrees of smartness, depends on which. Okay. Let's be real for a minute. The English system is so rotten, and not, you know what I mean? And it's only there to look after the top few that anything's better than that. And then Māoridom, it's not like that. It's if everyone gets, even now the land that's given back, which isn't a lot, it's only like 7% of the whole country. And you know, our country's like makes billions of dollars. So even that 7% gets spread out and shares to the people of that land, and that system will work anywhere on the planet. And so, man, I'm just like, man, let's help the best system and then hope that system, we all win then. We all win. Right. It doesn't matter. It's not about colours, is it? Because if we do colours, like I said to my brother, we DNA back to fish when the whole country, when the whole planet was covered in water. You know what I mean? Let's not worry about that. Let's just worry about getting some food and education and looking after good people. Because black lives do matter because we're all black. Like, check your DNA, folks. You know,
it's I love that you bring that up already, because I feel like there's a huge misunderstanding and miscommunication around Pacifica people and their role in the Black Lives Matter fight. And obviously when George Floyd was murdered earlier last year, gosh, it's almost the end of January, what's going on? But when that whole debacle became an actual important conversation, a lot of my friends and a lot of people around America that saw New Zealand turning out for in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, what's been your experience with that regarding how you're showing up as an artist, how you're showing up as a human, how you're showing up as somebody who gives a fuck about human rights?
Yeah, I I think I see these interviews and a lot of artists right now, they'll go, yeah, I started this thing way back in blah, 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 and I was the first to ask questions on Māori TV and blah, blah, blah. But the reality is, if you listen to someone like Jill Scott Heron or something, people have been saying this stuff since, but even before him, he read books about people who were writing this stuff in the 50s. And as soon as the Industrial Revolution sort of started, people were writing, they could prophesize the future about what was going to happen. Yeah. So for me, put ego aside, I'm just one of the millions of artists like yourself that artists sort of see a different picture, and we all do our little part. Like Daniel Ormsby's a painter out in Waitomo and carver, and he does his thing to educate people, and I do my thing through my songs that are getting better, whānau. I'm definitely working on my voice, and so but yeah, everyone does their thing. And you're like, in Aotearoa, there's so many cool artists that have done their thing. Mike King, Mike Smith. Sorry, brother, Mike Smith. And
Mike King is doing his thing with depression and male health.
There you go.
Male mental health.
He's cool too. No offense, Mike King. No offense, Mike King or Mike Smith. And growing up, Whanakupa, just really amazing activists and people that were clued up and on upstairs, and it didn't matter what the system was pushing down onto us, they stayed true to factual things. Right.
So tell me, what was the songwriting process like? Obviously these are issues and topics of concern of yours for a long time, especially you went to school in the 80s? When were you in? I don't know how old you are. I'm just totally talking out my butt right now.
I think they invented the wheel. I went wheel light, and then I started school. It was timeline was very close. I think, definitely 80s. Right, so we had Herbs. Remember Herbs?
Mm-hmm. I was born in the late 80s, so right. But I still remember the Herbs. Yes.
Yeah. So they were Bob Marley. I've heard two people talk about Bob Marley. He was the first to talk about something not about love and stuff, but actual educating people and stuff. And I think that influenced a lot of our bands, like Herbs. And then that finally got onto mainstream radio because it was so massive. And so, man, it's just for a young fella, in Te Kuiti, hearing that, it was me, and I just loved it. And there was musos in the family, but I was going to be in the NBA sister, so I wasn't really thinking music too much until later. I only really wrote some songs and stuff like that. But and then I guess my old man, he was super clued up sort of dude. He really helped a lot of Māori people, and open-mindedness is definitely a Perry sort of thing, even though there's some judges. We've got some judges in there, but
You always got to have judges. You know, we can't all be
teachers and
dreamers.
preachers. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So when it came to the reason I bring up your school system, you know, your school education background and things is, you know, obviously Te Reo Māori and just like Māori culture in general has, you know, there's been a hard battle for making sure that we were allowed to learn and speak Te Reo Māori in the school system. And, you know, and I say that knowing full well that as people of color in New Zealand, we certainly have it better than a lot of other cultures around the world, specifically, you know, Black Americans. Sorry, my cat is wanting to get in on this podcast. So if you see her ear, that's what's going on. Sorry, but you know, there's certainly, you know, we've in Aotearoa, we've certainly had a better way of a better journey, shall I say, through gaining some semblance of equality when it comes to representation and, you know, being treated equally. But I'm curious about the background, like for what was the inspiration behind, and how did you end up writing Backstabbers?
Sorry, my friend. Sorry, my friend.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, just having that technical friend. Backstabbers, I was trying to think of the first line now, sister, and then your thing, I'm thinking. Oh, yeah, no, definitely. The Backstabbers, sorry, my friend. The cope-up of their song is really about them having knowledge, and they don't share that knowledge. You know what I mean? Like
when
a
you say
them,
when you say them,
the system that obviously knows it's Māori land. There are Māori individuals and families that should have the money from the forestry, the gas, the gold, the oil, the whatever they're taking out of the land, the limestone in Waitemore, or that money is meant to be going to a Māori family. That's common sense. When it finally gets through courts, the Māoris always win those things in courts when you get to above the system, you know what I mean? Above where police just come in and just are horrific to Māori families in Aotearoa. Man, I'll just be here forever naming stories, but you're just going to have to take my word for it. It's just because it's not like in America where they're getting shot every day.
There's still certainly a lot of...
There's other things going on, you know what I mean? And just keeping Māori families in poverty, that's because the reality is you have to keep those people in poverty, otherwise they're going to get their stuff back in the end of the system. You know, and that I'd much rather be just paying all our taxes to a Māori government. Māoris decide what we do in New Zealand. I'm happy, whatever it is, I'm happy, you know, as sweet as with me, man. Use the kaitiaki of the whenua. That's what you've been doing for 1,000 years. It's not like you forgot how to do it because the white people come on a boat a couple hundred years ago and they've just totally, but not to just... The funny thing is the white people got ripped off by this too. They don't even know it. They still think this is a farmer rugby country and no land on this country is owned by white people anymore. It's Asians and that's not a racial thing. I looked it up. It's India, it's Asia, it's conglomerates from other countries. It's not Māoris and ain't Pākehās. So Pākehās are still shitting on Māoris, thinking that, you know, believing the hype, like you said, in the 80s, all that racist stuff that come out of National, just on and on through adverts and stuff, and they're still regurgitating this rugby, racing and beer culture to people that are educated. No, you know, and it's just sick of it. So yeah, even though Māoris might not be getting shot at the same rate as black people in America, it's not like they're not taking unbelievably horrific shit.
I don't mean to compare it all. I don't mean to compare it all. I'm just, you know, definitely. Everybody, we've all got our own traumas, and we're all dealing with them in a certain way. My point was simply that, you know, there was a lot of reverence for how many people showed out in support of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Definitely.
That's all. Yeah.
Because Māori been going through the Black Lives Matter since the boat turned up, right? Since Endeavour, right?
For sure,
so Captain Cook come. So yeah, no, definitely. I think that's why they definitely Māoris too, and that's Māoris too, the big aroha and Fijians like you, sister, big Pacific community. That's what they're about, man. They're just family orientated.
I feel like anybody who's watching this is probably like trying to find, Google really quickly what the Māori words that you're using are. So like whānau, for example, if you're unfamiliar with the word whānau, that means family. Aroha means love, or community. I'll try and remember what words you're using as we go through, just to sort of decipher for people who are watching.
Sweet as. Sweet as.
So when it came to writing Backstabbers, what was the biggest breakthrough that you personally achieved while writing this song?
Well, that was, I was starting to, with my songs, because before it was just feelings, like a lot of my early songs, I just had something stuck in my head and I'll just put that to a few chords and I'll chuck it onto my bro. That was the limit of it. Now I'm like really seeing the power, that power you can have of telling a good story, a story with some sort of substance, and now trying to sing in key also helps.
Always good.
Also helps to a beat. Beat. All right. Thanks, Whānau, for your help over the years. But that's it. So now I'm really getting that power. And like I was saying, now I can see the difference between what I'm selling and taking it as an audience. And there's just so much stuff going on. And like I said, I was working with some really good people now that think the sort of same way. And, it's just been fucking fantastic. I love it, and just doing this thing with you, it's like just positive things with music, and there is such a power in music, and every culture sings songs from thousands of years ago, because that's just the way our brain remembers stuff. Even with chants, it's got a rhythmic thing to it, and we can just remember a lot more through it. So and that's me. I'm like, man, I grew up on Bob Marley, man. I was just, Jimi Hendrix, man. They both two people that a lot of people say the CIA killed because they brought little white guys like me. We're like, we're all related, we can change the world, and you see why they people like that get knocked off. If that's what happened,
maybe
definitely
we'll
been to the moon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you received much feedback, or tell me about the feedback you have received from Backstabbers?
Oh, I mean, we've only got 5,000 people in our town, and I think we're up to like 200,000 hits on our videos and stuff like that. And
no big deal.
No, it's fucking ridiculous, and you know what I mean. So it's really, it's fucking cool. It's cool. It's super cool. Everything's cool. Pretty much in my the whole town's behind it, and further communities, because we rep the whole King Country. Everything, so way bigger than what I thought at the start, and the more exactly. I like being humble, man. I don't want to look into it too much, I might get a big head and trip over myself or something.
That's such a Kiwi perspective, it's funny, like living in America, everyone's like, no, but your head's not quite big enough. You need to stop being, I don't know. And then you get Kendrick Lamar and the type that we're like, no, sit down. Yeah. It's all good.
You get a big head around here, they'll steal your bike. That's what happens. It's
that explains so much about my childhood.
That's right.
So what makes this in particular your life-changing song? What makes Backstabbers the song that really resonates with you?
Well, I think that whole group of songs, that Backstabber, the Backstabber Revolution's another really good one. Me and Richie got arrested by police, got strip searched, whole lot of bad, so it's just bullshit. I was saying to the police, man, one day it's been your daughter in here getting strip searched by some random fuckers because they're having a bad day. But that shit happens all the time. You try and tell people in New Zealand, they're like, it's not like America. It's not like America. It's a different type of racism, and it's a different type of, in Katikati, 3 o'clock, people are going to get their kids, right? In Katikati, there's a little piece of land, and there's a lot of families on it, but they've got that land back, right? But only a little piece, while the majority of the white farms have these massive orchards. You wouldn't believe it. But on this little piece of land, so there's only one way in, one way out, and at 3 o'clock, when you have to go get the kids, that's when they're going to do their registration and a warrant thing on cars. And so there's people, my friends, family related, suddenly who are already struggling, now don't even have their car to get the kids, to get groceries and stuff. It's just constant pressure on good people. And until you go and have a look at it, you're just as whatever the news tells you, that's what you think the world is, and that's why I think we end up with so many sort of prejudice and racist people, because they don't actually go and talk to people involved in the thing. So yeah, no, man. Kati was rotten, man. That was a rotten town. Tikori's a rotten town. Friend got beaten up for picking watercress. Just on and on and on and on stories of rottenness. And the sooner Māori get tino rangatiratanga back, everything, total control of their shit. Mm-hmm. Until that happens, we're just going to be subject to this sort of just bully bullshit, I guess. I don't
bully
know.
Bullshit.
There's probably a better word for it.
No, I feel you.
I feel you.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, man. I feel you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, let's have a quick listen to Backstabber. I believe
cool.
I've got the right video for you. And, of course, this is FTW TKKC.
TKKC.
Here we go. Once my computer likes to work properly. There we go.
Cool. Oh, cool. I can see that.
So let's have a listen.
Oh, yeah.
Tina, huye, taiki. Tenuranga tiratanga, no we keep them Māori quick. You know we're looking at my life for the hard strife sweat. And everybody knows I come from the king country, this is where I'm from. I know photos where I'm from. Sasha TKKC, and you wanna keep me blind. This goes out to all those people trying to keep us down, hold us back. And you try to keep me down, and you wanna keep me blind, and you wanna keep me blind, hold us back. Why everybody wanna be like us? I'll tell you, I got the best music. Roll up like Jake the Mus. You're not my brother, man, you ain't my cousin. Fuck the world. Fuck the world. Fuck the world. And you try to keep me down, and you wanna keep me blind, and you wanna keep me blind, and you try to keep me down, and you wanna keep me blind, and you wanna backstab, They don't want us to survive. They don't want us to thrive. Why everybody wanna be like us? I'll tell you, I got the best music. They don't want us to survive. They don't want us to thrive. Roll up like Jake the Mus. You're not my brother, man, you ain't my cousin. They don't want us to survive. They don't want us to thrive. Try to keep me down, and you wanna keep me blind, and you Boy, man, no bottles where I'm from. I see the truth through the he said, she said. From the lands beyond, beyond, beyond. I see the truth through the he said, she said.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Cool.
That's
awesome. I haven't seen that in ages, actually. I haven't seen that for a long time, so it's good to watch it. That's cool.
That's cool. That's cool. So, how can people get in touch with you if they, if they want to find out more information about your band, about you, about what you're up to?
YouTube.com/FTW the band. It's got heaps of our stuff on there. We've got if you just Google FTW TKKC, we're the only FTW TKKC. So the heaps have come up, Facebook, things like that, T-shirts, mata blah, but yeah, that's us. Because there was heaps of FTWs, right? There's a lot of people that are FTW, so we had to put the Te Koeti King Country in there too.
I love it.
But we're the only FTW TKKC, so yeah, kia ora.
Kia ora, kia ora. Thank you so much, Sasha. I really appreciate your time and you being here, and what you do for the fight. It's artists. I think there's a magic behind being an artist, being a songwriter, and being able to empower people in a way that politicians and other freedom fighters can't necessarily do. So thank you for the part that you play, and of course, please keep in touch with him. FTW the band on YouTube or FTW TKKC.
Just Google it. Just Google it. You'll find it.
Just Google it.
Hey, Whānau, can I say something, Emma? Just because I know you're a great talker. Hey, people out there, check out Emma G, man. She's a pretty amazing chick. She's come all the way from Whaingaroa, Raglan, Aotearoa. She has beaten some issues. She's beaten some things, man. And so what you see here, this amazing chick doing this cool thing for all us musicians, because I seen what you do. There's a lot of musicians like me that wouldn't really talk. I don't like doing interviews, but talking to another musician, it's different. It's a cool, or it's a lot more open. This isn't the normal Sash. So yeah, check Emma G out, man. And yeah, especially ladies, man. You've done some amazing things, Emma. Good mahi, man.
Got it, bro. I really appreciate that. Thank you. It's always nice, like warm and fuzzies, to get that kind of reverence from one another. So thank you, and that means a lot. You got me all tongue-tied over here.
Nah, you're all good, sister. I love it. It's cool, man. It's cool. Everyone asks me, who's this Emma G? Who's this Emma G coming up on my Facebook? So she's cool, man. It's all good.
I try. And that note, please be good, be kind, spread love like it's going out of fashion. Be your own kind of superhero, and don't forget to, spread love and lead the change, because this is the change that starts with us. The change is part of who you are, and and follow FTW the band, and of course you can grab my book.
Yeah, that's right. Get the book, man. Of course,
you can grab my book. You can do, there's so much stuff that I'm doing over here on imagemusic.com.
Awesome. Until
next time, friends. Peace, love.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emma.